that's why we're all able to do what we're doing right now.
Yes.
It's people like, that's why I'm able to write a song that I feel connected with and try to get it out and try to speak some common sense to people the way that I want to, right? The way that I view things, which is my right as an American.
Yes.
And so, I get incredibly pumped when I see anybody that's protecting our rights, our freedoms, protecting our families and our friends and our communities, whether that's here or overseas, whether you're a cop, a firefighter, a nurse, whatever you are, if you're helping our communities stay safer, I love you guys to death.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another live episode of the Officer Nate podcast. I have a particularly special guest joining me tonight. He is a country singer-songwriter, and he's written a pretty remarkable song, which we are going to talk about. But first, I want to mention State Patriot Clothing and Apparel. Your clothing is not nearly patriotic enough, so go visit statepatriot.com, or you can visit them on Facebook and Instagram at State Patriot. They have the dry fit shirts with the UPF 50 sun protectant. Those are the shirts that I like in particular. They also have the hats with the removable patches, so you can get a different patch for every day of the week if you'd like. But their stuff is really amazing. It's really comfortable, and it's very stylish, very modern. So go check them out at statepatriot.com or visit them at State Patriot on Instagram and Facebook. And without any further ado, let's bring in my guest, Ansel Brown. How are you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no problem. So I have to admit, before you and I were introduced, I wasn't really that big of a country music fan. So you have to forgive me.
I got you, man. I'm okay with it.
But you're bringing me around, especially with this latest piece of music that you've come up with. Yep. But before we tell everybody about that, why don't, if you don't mind, tell us, give us your background, where you're from, tell us about your family and how you got into country music.
Yeah, man. Grew up in a Southern family in South Carolina, but then quickly, within a year of my life, I was moving everywhere with my family because my dad was a officer in the Navy. Mm-hmm. So I grew up in towns across the U.S., up in D.C., Rhode Island, Norfolk, South Carolina, Hawaii. Spent a lot of time in Hawaii. So I grew up, having to change friends about every 4 or 5 years. And back then we didn't have, Facebook and all that good stuff. So I just kind of made new friends all the time, which I think served me well. Grew up meeting a lot of different people, having to fit into a lot of different, communities and cultures. And think it, from a Navy brat standpoint, it was very instrumental in me, kind of becoming who I am as an adult. And it was, I'm not going to complain. I hated making new friends all the time, but it was also good, but I always lost track of my old friends. So, so later on in life, I got into music, and I've been in a lot of things. I'm, marketing agency, branding guy just by trade in terms of, working on national brands and global brands and things like that. So I kind of got my feet wet, a long time ago doing branding and marketing. So that's easy for me. That's simple. But I also got into storytelling and just, the whole community thing for me is big in terms of support, not just for my own, small community, but for people that aren't as lucky as I am. And that started with children's hospitals in Charlotte, North Carolina to begin with Levine Children's Hospital. And that really opened the floodgates, so to speak, into community work. And I really did that before I came out with my first album back in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. And so, by the time I was recording in Nashville, I was already having private meetings with incredible kids in this children's hospital and their families. And I wasn't just going into the playroom. I was going in from room to room, meeting privately with parents and their kids, and really just making them, or trying to make them, forget about their current situation.
Yeah.
And I never asked what anybody was facing. I went in there and I had fun with those families.
Yeah.
And that turned into what I called the Bigger Heart Tour. And so after my first album came out, and we got, Country Music Association debut spotlight, and Who Knew to Watch, and Robert K. Orman came out and gave me his Discovery Award. He's the toughest critic, or was back then the toughest critic in country music.
Yeah.
But I was full bore into my community work. That was really, I think I think I told you this, my blessing and my curse, right? It's a, I just have that in me,
Mm-hmm.
that I have to tie myself to helping others. And that's really my whole existence depends on that. And the music, yes, it's a passion, and I love singing, I love writing, but man, do I love helping.
Yeah.
And I really love helping. And so that led, me into writing a song that NASA used for all the final space shuttle events. I got to be the only performer to come out to every space shuttle finale event, including the final launch, the final landing, wow, as well as the farewell ceremony, where I was a speaker along with the NASA administrator, to thousands of people getting ready to lose their jobs. So of course I'm tied into, I love space, I love exploration. This whole thing is ending, and I'm here to make people feel better that are about to lose their jobs, because the space shuttle program was coming to an end. But that was perfect for me, because that's what comes naturally to me.
Yeah.
And so that led to me meeting Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime. He's been the voice of Optimus Prime in the Transformer franchise since the beginning.
Yeah.
And I serenaded him, and there were tears coming out of his eyes, there were tears coming out of my eyes. And before you know it, I had been writing a song, to help veterans, called Our Country.
Yeah.
And Peter told me, hey, he's like, I want to be involved. I'll narrate it. I'll narrate the beginning for you. And yeah, I got pretty popular for a while, and I was doing really well. But to have Peter Cullen go, Ansel, man,
yeah,
I want to be a part of this. That was pretty special to me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, and so we ended up making a big impact on veterans, especially here in North Carolina, with Welcome Home Vets, which is one of my favorite organizations, and Richard's Coffee Shop, which is a diamond in terms of community and veterans. Really throughout the United States. There's really nothing like it as far as I'm concerned.
Nice.
I get a little choked up when I talk about it. But the Mayor Atkins in Mooresville actually introduced me. They're right down the street from my offices here, and I actually moved here to this street, to this office, because of my work with veterans.
Oh, okay.
That all came from Our Country. I filmed a video there. I did music video, which is on YouTube, Our Country. And, that started about really till today, in terms of I'm there every Thursday with veterans, Vietnam vets, smoking a stogie out on the sidewalk, man, every Thursday almost for the last 10 years.
That's really cool.
It's amazing. I've been through some tough times the last 7 years, and they were, I'm not a veteran. I'm a Navy brat, but
yeah, I'm
not a veteran, and they stood behind me, man. They are as loyal as they come, and it was just amazing for me. So that was really, there's one more story that deals with helping.
Uh-huh.
That came back, everything kind of flows through the children's hospitals to NASA, to Our Country, and then back to NASA, where I wrote a song called Flying with a young lady from Oregon who won a songwriting contest with NASA. And we co-wrote together. And if you know my children's hospital history, when I met her, I had no clue she had cerebral palsy. Mm-hmm. I wrote a whole song with this girl. and called Flying, and never met her until she was at NASA for the Optimus Prime Awards.
Uh-huh.
And I did a concert there. I got to meet her at lunch, and she was just this amazing girl that I had no clue was facing such a struggle in her life. And so we ended up recording, going to Nashville. NASA and Rocket 21 was the organization that was sponsoring the songwriting contest.
Uh-huh.
So they flew us all to Nashville. She got to watch me record it in a Nashville studio. And then lo and behold, I heard she could sing. So I got her in the studio, and she sang all the background vocals to that song. It's an amazing song. It'll be on iTunes and Apple Music and everything, and Spotify here pretty soon. It's called Flying.
That's cool.
We went to her school in Oregon and surprised her entire class with a concert for her and that song. And we had to do 2 full auditoriums because there were so many kids in that school. And God, I'd never seen so much love for a student, a girl like this. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And so that leads us to today, where your story happened. And of course, I caught wind of it, and to me, it was eye-opening. I've always been my wife is a first, she's an ER. She works in the ER.
Mm-hmm.
She was pregnant the entire outbreak of COVID. She went to work every day, never complained. So and I love police officers. I love veterans. And a lot of veterans become police officers. So to me, it just, I was already feeling a little pent up anxiety because of all of the stuff going on in the police, to police and communities today.
Yeah.
But your story really stood out to me. And that's where we are now. And that's why we're talking now. And I don't know that you really believed that I was going to write a song and record it and do it.
Well, I was just going with the flow. And yeah. I feel like now is a good time to give a shout out to our mutual friend, Tracy Hoffman, since she's the one who introduced us. And, she's been sort of the liaison, I guess, between you and I, making sure that, we're all communicating and staying on the same page.
She's awesome.
But yeah, she's a good lady. But I wanted to say one thing about veterans. When you were talking about veterans and how you spend time with them, when I was still working for the Bellevue Marshal's office, I was on shift one morning and I went to get some breakfast at one of the local restaurants there. And as I was sitting there waiting for my food, and I was just kind of looking around the restaurant, and there was an older gentleman sitting with his family, and he had his Vietnam vet hat on. Mm-hmm. And so I noticed him. I noticed he was a veteran. And as soon as I looked at him, he looked at me and he told me, he's like, "Thank you for your service." And which I wanted to say the same thing to him, which I did, but he beat me to it. And that's just, that just goes to show that our veterans who have been in these conflicts, these wars like Vietnam, World War II, the Korean War, whatever the case is, I think they understand, they see life differently, and they're grateful for a lot of things. And they understand the importance, I think, of their own military service, but also the importance of having good men and women in law enforcement. So that really hit me, for him to have done what he's done in his life. I mean, I don't know him that well, obviously, but being a veteran, he's obviously made some sacrifices and has probably done some pretty amazing things. And for him to reach out to me first and say, "Hey, I just want you to know that I'm grateful for you," was, it hit me. I was in my feels that day.
No, that's incredible. And that's, really, and like I said, a lot of those guys, they come back from conflict, and there's really, some of the best places to work for them are as a cop. Mm-hmm. They're naturals. So, it's always felt very, any first responder, I say thank you when I see them. That's kind of the first thing I do. That's just that's just how I feel. Mm-hmm. So I embarrass my family half the time because I'm telling everybody I see with a a cop uniform on or a military uniform on or a veteran hat on, I'm the one that's over there going, "Hey man, can I have your autograph?"
Yeah.
It really is. That's why we're all able to do what we're doing right now.
Yes.
It's people like, that's why I'm able to write a song that I feel connected with and try to get it out and try to speak some common sense to people the way that I want to, right? The way that I view things, which is my right as an American.
Yes.
And so, I get incredibly pumped when I see anybody that's protecting our rights, our freedoms, protecting our families and our friends and our communities. Whether that's here or overseas, whether you're a cop, a firefighter, a nurse, whatever you are, if you're helping our communities stay safer, I love you guys to death. That's just how I feel. And it's easy for me to get passionate about that.
Yeah, it'd be nice if more people felt that. And I think the majority of Americans do really. But I think it's a small percentage of people that don't. The ungrateful ones, the ones who are waging this war on police officers. I mean, I think it's a relatively small percentage of people, but for whatever reason, they're the ones that we're hearing from. It's
the tail wagging the dog.
Exactly. And, I did a sort of an introductory video about you and your song, Middle of the Madness. And one of the things I mentioned in there was I don't think the timing could have been more perfect for this song to be released. We're on the tail end of 2 years where this war has been waged against law enforcement, and to have your voice out there going, hey, if it's not for people like these people who wear the badges, we wouldn't have the freedoms that we have now, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So the timing was impeccable.
Yeah, and really, we're fighting to try to get it done in time, right? Me, Brent Bowers, who's one of the co-writers with me, and Harrison Foreman. I couldn't have done it without them. But when Brent and I first sat down to start talking about, we actually used I'll show you real quick. We used that whiteboard up there.
Okay.
Okay. So when we first started whiteboarding your story and kind of what you were going through at the time, and then how we felt as individuals about what police officers and frontline workers have to go through in order to make sure we all live a safer existence. One of the things that really kind of kicked off everything was when Brent said, our yesterdays and our used to be's, right? This is how we grew up. And that became really the symbol of this song for me, even though it's not in the chorus. Mm-hmm. When I say I grew up beneath the red, white, and blue, it wouldn't be the same if not for you, meaning first responders, military, police, whoever that person is, really wouldn't be the same if not for you. But if my yesterdays and used to be's hadn't been so good to me, I might not feel the same. I might want to change. Mm-hmm. But this freaking thing that we're going through can't be survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Because that would just become survival of the richest.
Right.
And really, that is the most important part of the song to me, just personally, because I understand that there are people that have had bad experiences.
Yeah.
But again, when you get the tail wagging the dog, we get problems. And that's what they really want, is they want us to feud. They want us to fight and attack each other. Because at the end of the day, that's the goal of anybody trying to cause something to drastically change.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to my wife comes from Bogota, Colombia, South America. Very, there are some bad areas in that country, but it's a beautiful country. So don't get me wrong.
Sure.
And the people are amazing when I've been there. But she came from a tough part of Colombia. She's seen some tough things, but when you're there, and I'm just trying to show you the difference, right? So when I went there, they're sitting there waving at their cops. Mm-hmm. When they drive by, they all wave.
Yeah.
Because those guys down there had to fight off the cartels, and a lot of them died. But they respect the fact that they are free today because of their sacrifices.
Right.
And that's how with the police here, that's really what I dream of seeing, is that, you know, when they're in a community, the community understands the importance of what they're doing. Now, I know there's bad apples in every organization. That's just truth.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, they're the 99 point whatever percent of those cops are there because they want to have an impact on their own community.
Yes.
Not the federal community, the local community.
Right.
And sorry, I'm getting
it's all good, man. This is a safe space.
Yeah. But I'll tell anybody that, you know, the fact is that I love debating, and it's okay for us to debate when somebody doesn't agree with me. It's okay to have a debate. Mm-hmm. But what everybody seems to want to do is just shut you down.
Yeah.
And that's not what, you know, politicians want to shut you down.
Yeah.
And that's not what this country is about. This country is about fair debate. Mm-hmm. Okay, you say your side, I say mine. We come together in the middle and we make it. We fix something or we change something. But you don't have one side wagging the dog, going, "No, we're going to just get rid of cops. We're going to have social workers," and you know, because then all the communities. And I've been in a lot of these communities, and I've had partners that have lived in a lot of these communities. They need the cops. Mm-hmm. If there's a high crime rate, they don't want to get rid of the cops. Not the people that I've talked to.
Right.
They know they need the cops. Yes, we need to have good cops. And I know people have had bad experiences in their own ways. Yeah. And that's just human nature. It's going to happen. But, you know, to me, that's what I want this song to say, hey, I know there are other viewpoints. Mm-hmm. I know there are. And I know not everybody sees it like me. Now, in the song, Singing As Me, I'm telling people what I feel about cops.
Yeah.
I back the blue. You know, I've backed the blue my whole life. And yeah, I know not everybody does, and I know some people see it differently. But let's not throw out everything and become survival of the fittest, because we can't afford bodyguards.
Right. Okay,
we're not the famous celebrities or politicians that are rich that can have 24/7 security.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, they'll say whatever they can to get attention, but it's not what you and I and the normal Joe can do.
Right.
And so. That's what I want this song to do. And you're the inspiration for it, Nate, because you got fired for just saying a truth, for just saying something that's common sense. Why is common sense illegal?
Right.
Why
is it offensive?
Yeah. Why is common sense ground? What country are we when we start firing people for having common sense?
Yeah.
And, you know, so that's how I feel personally about it. And again, I know there are people that see it differently than I do. Mm-hmm. And I would love to talk to those people, but my song is really not meant to divide. My song is really meant to get people talking and to come together and understand there's got to be a better way to make changes than what media is perpetrating on us every single day, and politicians and celebrities and famous athletes are all doing. That is just a division-making machine.
Well, and isn't it? I mean, and nobody is protected from cancel culture. I mean, I don't know if you follow basketball at all. I try not to these days, but you know, Kyrie Irving is under fire because he refused to be vaccinated, and so now they're benching him because you know he's not fully vaccinated and he refuses to get vaccinated. But it's interesting that. You know, I read about this comparison. I think it was on Facebook maybe, where you know Colin Kaepernick was praised for starting a conversation. Right? He knelt during the national anthem, which in my opinion is disrespectful. There's a time and a place to protest, and I don't think during the national anthem is the time. But you know, he was praised by the left for being brave and starting this conversation. So okay, what about Kyrie Irving? What about his conversation that he's starting? What about his First Amendment right? You know, what about his medical freedom? Yeah,
this doesn't fit the narrative.
Exactly.
And, you know, it's an ongoing thing. So getting back to the song in relation to what you're talking about now, which is the chorus of the song really kind of gets at this. But, it talks about the middle of the madness of the sickness, how the media says, but none can ever witness, how it all can fall apart with such a quickness. So I hold on, and I dream of yesterday kind of thing, but that is really, and I'm not trying to listen, I don't want to vilify any, I'm a country singer. So, and Tracy can tell you this, as a country singer, as a singer, as an artist, I don't want to try to like prove my side is right or your side is wrong. Right. I want to come out, I'm not out here to have my bully pulpit or my platform to tell you, you should think like me. Right. So I'm going to write songs and people can listen to the song and they can judge what the storyline is of the song. It may be about me. It may not be about me. It may have nothing to do with my life, but as an artist, there is no better way to bring people together than music as far as I'm concerned. There is no better way to open up dialogue and open up hearts than music. And so that's kind of how I always roll. I try to stay apolitical as much as possible. I don't get out there and do videos and that kind of thing. I love talking to people like you. I love patriots. So, there's nothing better to me than a patriot, somebody that understands that we are built on certain foundations and we have liberties and we have justice and we have things that we have that other countries don't necessarily have. They may have a constitution, but I guarantee you it's not as good or as strong or as stable as our constitution. Right. In a lot of countries, I'll use Colombia again, they can just have a majority change the constitution. Yep. And so it's always changing, and it's always changing based on the political party that's in charge. Yeah. And so, we are really lucky to be where we're at as a nation. Yes. And, but we are eroding that as we fight and as we bicker and as we get media and celebrities who have a bully pulpit, wagging the dog as this is probably overused now, but, that's what's happening. And people believe it because that's all they hear. Right. And so, I want the song that I wrote that was inspired by you. I want it to be something that gets people going, you know what? He's back the blue, but he understands that there are other viewpoints. That's really what I want, because then it's easier for me to talk to that person. It's easier for me to share my story with that person. And, luckily I have a skill and a talent and a passion that it can rise above politics, right? It can rise above the mainstream media because it's art. Yes. There's no better way, like I said, to diffuse people and diffuse their anger than with music. Yeah. And so I feel blessed and humbled and excited that I'm starting this new journey, because I took about 6.5, 7 years off. But I did. And I had some personal issues that I was going through and some health issues. Yeah. And so I'm back now because of you. You opened the door to this Pandora's box in my brain. And, but I've had the veterans trying to kick me in the rear for about 7 years now, going, when are you going to get back into it? Yeah. And, but you just happened to be the catalyst that opened Pandora's box again for me. And then Brent and Harrison, and then even Eddie Snuggs of Snug Records, where he's the engineer and the mixing guy, is cool as great. I was going to say a bad word, but he's cool. And they're all cool. I mean, just writing with these guys and pinning something about your experience that turned into a song that we all like. Just when you listen to the recording, you're going to hear all the instrument. That's because we were just like letting loose. It's not really a true country song. It's more Southern rock, right? Yeah. It was. No,
it's a fantastic song.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And it just, the passion's there, the friendship is there, the storyline is there from you, and God bless you for trying to get people to understand, at the cost of your job, trying to get people to at least understand your perspective as a former police officer, and trying to even if you have to use the tough approach sometimes, right? I
Yeah.
get that, and
Yeah.
that's that. We have our places, and hopefully, I'm the guy that can come in and say, soften up a little bit,
Yeah.
okay? This is really what we're talking about. This is not anything to do with dividing us,
Yeah.
and really, I think that we can make a difference. And it's like you said, most people understand that cops are not out there, looking around going, who can I take advantage of next?
Right.
That's not what they're doing. And everybody knows that has any common sense, any understanding. Now, pundits will tell you something different maybe, but we are in a situation
get the ratings,
where, yeah. And I think I told you one time that I can go out and just try to be controversial. And maybe explode because I'm controversial, but my blessing and my curse, I want to make a difference.
Yeah.
I really want to make a difference.
Well, and I think this song will help accomplish that. If we get enough people listening to it, if we can get it out there, get it widespread enough. Because like I said, it's a fantastic song. It's a great message. And I think that, like you said, the people that are out there, the decent, hardworking, salt of the earth type American people are going to hear this song, and they're going to appreciate the message. They're going to understand it. And I think it will resonate with them. And hopefully, and this is what I tried to do with my book. I wanted those people who were, it would be nice if everybody could read it and have a change of heart. If you're the type of person who hates police, but if you're that type of person who's on the fence, maybe you'll read my book and it'll kind of nudge you over to our side a little bit, and you'll understand the reality. And hopefully that's what your song will do as well. It'll resonate with those people, and they'll say, wow, I never really thought of it this way.
The cool thing is I can sneak up on people with my song.
Yeah.
Because if we get enough people streaming it, talking about it, downloading it, especially, then radio picks it up, it starts playing, people are listening to it, they're not knowing what the song is really about until they get into the song. And then I'm still going to have people attacking me because I say back the blue. That literally, I'll get attacked because I say back the blue in the song. But I can tell anybody to read my lyrics. Read the lyrics, and you can't argue against my lyrics because it's my perspective, and I'm opening the door to your perspective.
Yes.
And that's really what, music can do, right? It's just a 3-minute song, man. It's not a whole book. It's not, a TV show. It's a 3-minute song where I got to get a lot of information in there without making it more than just a song, right?
Well, music, people, like for a lot of people, and me included, music is therapeutic. It's cathartic. It's soothing. It's, it's consoling. It's different things for people, that music, there's something about music that just helps people to connect to, whatever message is being relayed, in that song.
There's a reason why they start church services with music.
Right.
Because it brings people in that direction for their sermon and whatever whatever religion you are. Almost everybody uses music, man. It is a universal way to the heart and the soul.
Yep. I agree. So the song drops October 29th. What else do people need to know about it? How can they access it?
So it's going to be on every online store. You can make videos with it on TikTok. You can use it on Instagram and Facebook, and you can get it on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, just about anywhere, Pandora, wherever you can buy music. You should be able to get Middle of the Madness on October 29th. My website is being updated, so I do have a landing pages. It's anselbrown.com. If you could put that in the notes of this video, that would be awesome.
Yep.
Just so people can stay tuned to what I have, in terms of communication as we grow this. But the main thing is we're, like I said, I took 7 years off. I didn't maintain a public persona during those 7 years. It was a very private part of my life, other than being with veterans every week.
Yeah.
And I had to recharge the batteries a little bit. And so I can't do this on my own.
Yeah.
In order for this to make any noise, we have to have people downloading it,
Mm-hmm.
purchasing it on iTunes, and a big portion of that's going to go to your foundation, Blue Lives Foundation,
Yeah.
at some point here. That's really, that's a good reason to download it. But the bigger picture is the more people download it, the more news it makes, the more likely that it is to get. It is a radio song. It's not like some patriotic anthem.
Right.
It's a radio song. It's meant to be sung along to in the car, and it's not meant to be an anthem. It's meant to be a song. That's really, I want it to reach more people, right? So that's
Yes.
that's how we wrote it, and Brent did a great job producing it with me, and to me, it we need everybody's help. So the more that you and your fans can help me get a jump start on this, the better. Otherwise, we're just treading water, and the tail will continue to wag the dog.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to stay in this, let's at least have a fighting chance to have dialogue, right? So that,
Right.
I've seen people attacking you like on TikTok, and I'm amazed at how these people don't really listen. They just attack.
Yeah.
They don't care what you're saying.
Right.
I've noticed that the last couple of weeks. I've seen it happen, and really it disorients me a little bit because I haven't been in this realm for a while. And we didn't have TikTok when I 7 years ago. It wasn't really a big deal.
Right.
But to see the hatred that is spewed out of some people without even getting into dialogue with you, just and I know they're trying to get attention. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. They've got their followers and they want to get attention. But it's opened my eyes a little bit to how difficult it is just to say thank you to cops.
Yeah.
And I am unashamedly going to support the cops.
Yes.
I'm not saying that everyone's good. I can't not support the cops.
Yeah.
And
well, like you said, we realize there are some bad apples. There are some bad actors in every industry and every profession, but law enforcement as a profession is important. Okay.
Right.
We can't cancel it because of a few excessive force incidents, or because of a few racist police officers. Are there racist police officers? Absolutely. I don't know any, but I'm sure there are some that are out there. But
Absolutely.
you're going to have that everywhere. There are little pockets of evil, wicked, unrighteous people all over the country. But that doesn't mean we should cancel whatever profession they're a part of.
Right.
And the same goes for law enforcement. It's important. I've had some friends on Instagram describe law enforcement as the real Homeland Security, right? Because they're the ones at home domestically who protect our freedoms, protect our liberties and our rights. So
the sheriff's department is there to protect each county's own constitutional rights.
Right.
And it gets down to that, micro of a level in terms of the Constitution and, the strength or the power of the federal government versus the local government. And, to me, it's a eye-opening process to see people saying we should federalize police or no, because that's not what our Constitution is about. Our Constitution is at the local level.
Yes.
And we have rights as a local government, as a regional, as a state government, and so on and so forth. And to me, that's just a power grab.
Yeah. Well, and for everybody watching and listening, Ansel's mentioned that he is a helper, right? He wants to help people, and I believe that in having gotten to know you over the past several months, you've proven that. So for all of you who back the Blue, right, downloading and purchasing this song and sharing this song so that it gets out there, not only helps spread the message, but like Ansel mentioned, he's agreed to donate a portion of the proceeds from this song to the Blue Lives Foundation, which is an organization that benefits police officers. So if nothing else, purchasing this song will further that cause and supporting law enforcement and, making sure that our men and women who wear the badge know that we know how important they are and that we appreciate the work that they do. And it's not, it's not just these small groups of people, wanting to cancel the police, wanting to defund the police. We outnumber them, and we have to make sure that they know that.
And for anybody that doesn't back the blue, download the song too, because you need to listen to its message. It is not a message to divide. It is a message to come together and to have dialogue and debate, which is okay. It's okay to debate.
Right. And it's okay to hear other viewpoints.
Yes, it absolutely is. And so, I hope that, people will download it, even if they're on the fence or they don't necessarily back the blue because they've heard things or they've seen things or whatever. But, I want to help everybody come together. Yeah. And so the more we can do for that to happen, the better. Mm-hmm. And I want to say thank you to anybody that's serving in this environment. First responders, police officers, firefighters, frontline workers, whoever it is. I truly thank God for each of you and what you've sacrificed in your work and the things that you're giving up in terms of you're feeling comfortable. Because right now, nobody feels comfortable. If you're a police officer or a sheriff, you just don't feel comfortable right now. And I'm sorry for that. And I hope all of you persevere and have grit and determination to get through this and help us all come together, in our communities that you're serving in and protecting, so that we can at least get beyond this to a better place when it comes to dialogue.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's a great message for everybody out there. So and real quick in regards to this comment. The song will be released October 29th. You can download it. I think you said Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, everywhere you download and stream music. Just look up "Middle of the Madness."
Yep. And the name of the song. Honestly, if you're doing videos and you're a creator on TikTok and you're doing Instagram story reels and all that kind of stuff, use the song in your videos.
Yeah.
Use it to make your message stand out so you can be a part of this debate.
Yes. I'll be using it.
Yep.
I'm on TikTok. You got a taste of how TikTok can be kind of treacherous for conservatives.
I have like 52 followers on TikTok. So I am just I literally just.
You just signed up a few days ago, didn't you?
I just signed up and I'm already getting hit. And it's like, I'm like, what did I ever do to you? I get kind of like bent sideways by it because I'm like, what? I'm used to people liking me. I don't like the whole, I'm just bad because of what I sing.
Well,
I don't understand that.
I think if you, like you said, you tend not to get political. And if you can stick to that, you'll be fine. I don't think they'll be able to cancel you on TikTok. So, but it's
that's true.
It's rough out there. So there's people who are just waiting.
I feel for creators, man. The creators that are on TikTok have thick skin, man. Your skin is way thicker than my skin. I tell you that right now. So don't think that I'm this tough guy. I'm like, hello, why did they call me that?
Right? Like what did I do to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm peace and love, man. I'm going to write a song about you, though. I'll write a song about the one that you know who you are. If you're watching this video, I'm going to write a song about you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Ansel. Like I said, it's been awesome. Oh, go ahead.
Can I say one more thing? So my dad was an attorney when I was growing up, and he always said, the pen is better than the sword, right? You've heard that before, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So I can use a pen to write my songs. Mm-hmm. So remember that.
Yeah.
If you're after me, you're gonna get famous.
Well, and it's really hard to cancel musicians, right?
Yeah.
You got your own.
They can be canceled, though. They can.
Well,
they can be canceled.
Probably a lot more difficult than canceling a TikTok creator.
You're probably right, because I actually reported this one person. I was like, they're bullying me. I thought that was a deal right now. Like, bullying's not good, but they're really bullying. And I'm like, why is she? And I got a response from TikTok that said, well, we're sorry that you don't like their video, but it's not going against, or it's not violating any of our rules. I'm like, okay,
yeah. Yeah,
anyway,
there's a
I'm
well, no,
having
that's
fun with it.
there's a certain group of people who are allowed to bully on TikTok, and then everybody else isn't allowed to.
I
So,
can see that. I'm
yeah.
getting a taste. Like I said, 52 followers. So if y'all want to sign up to my TikTok, we can have a wave on my TikTok too. Let's do that.
Oh, speaking of that, where do people find you on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook?
Ansel Brown Music on TikTok, and then just Ansel Brown or Ansel Brown Fans on Facebook, and then Ansel Brown on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, and I'll put all those things in the description section of the video as well, so that people can follow you. Yeah, so just keep in mind, everybody, October 29th, anywhere you download and stream and listen to music, look up Middle of the Madness. Can they pre-order it, or do they have to wait till the 29th?
No, I didn't have enough because we were so, I wanted to get this out. Like you said, it's good timing to get it out now. So we didn't have time to really set up a pre-order process with the distribution company. So it'll just come out on the 29th, and we'll hope that everybody downloads it and then downloads it and then tells their friends to download it and all of their family members to download it and then their friends of their friends to download it.
Is there any idea what it's going to cost?
Should be
per download.
I think it's 99 cents a song. I believe.
Yeah, that's nothing. Yeah, that's nothing.
99 to $1.29 is the average, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's very affordable.
Yeah, they can tell distant cousins too.
What he's saying is tell everyone, tell everybody you know to download this song.
Yeah.
So it's a great song. I've listened to it. Ansel has let me be a part of the sort of the creation of this song.
Absolutely.
And when he gave me the finished product, I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is fantastic. So
yeah,
I can't wait for first responders to be able to listen to it. And
yep. And he's the reason why this Pandora's box opens. So just remember that, not me. It's because of him.
Well, I'm glad I could help. So,
yep.
Well, thanks a lot, Ansel. Thanks for coming on and explaining, and telling us the story about how this all came to fruition. And yeah, we'll do it again real soon.
You're awesome to talk to, man. I don't care what people say about you.
Well, it depends on what platform you're on. If you're on TikTok, they hate me. If you're on Instagram, I think you have a few more lovable fans.
Yeah, I love talking to you, man. You're always good to talk to, and I think you're a great guy, and you've done a lot of great work. I can't wait for your foundation to have an impact. I hope your book, hits it on the New York Times bestseller list, and let's get out there and change this world, man.
Yeah, we make a good team. We'll get this song out there.
Thank you, Nate.
All right, thanks, brother. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, remember to get your copy of my book, Never Off Duty, which is available at d'angelopublications.com or officernate.com. We'll be back with more of your favorite conservative content. This is the Officer Nate Podcast.